elementary principal, Mrs. Amy Ladmer, is with us. Lamity. Okay, so welcome, Amy. We're really glad to have you with us. We hope things are going well for you.
Things aren't going well. I'm really busy, that's for sure. My time here so far has been short, but exceptionally busy, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on in our first 3 days with students here, first 5 days with staff here, and just a quick update on what's ahead. It was great on Tuesday and Wednesday to have the opportunity to meet the staff for the first time, and I can say that I can now identify people with a name and a face, which is really important. Early on last week, I worked with our elementary counselor to generate schedules for the elementary teachers. And I only mention that because that is a new experience for most elementary teachers. And the purpose for doing it is we have to link our teachers to our students, to our courses, to the number of minutes that they instruct, because all of that feeds into the annual professional performance review growth piece. It's exceptionally new. There are some questions out there about attendance, about classes, and when students come in and when they come out. But every school in New York State is experiencing this on an elementary level, so we're certainly not alone. And I do have to give a lot of credit to Sam DeLeal, our elementary counselor, who has been working furiously to make sure that these linkages are correct. And again, she wouldn't be the only counselor pulling her hair out, so she's in good company with counselors statewide. I had the opportunity to meet with our Parent-Teacher Association, and I learned a lot about the financial support of our students, and I'm very impressed with that. We also explored the Hard Peaks Challenge and the Deer Club, the reading program that's been in effect. And I'm investigating ways for us to continue to use both of these programs to benefit our students. And I look forward to working with the group for sure. Our staff's now swiftly preparing for our baseline assessments to help with our instructional planning, the identification of our students for remediation, and to set professional goals for student achievement by each teacher. And those come in the form of STAR assessments, and on the younger grades also DIBELS, which is a reading speed assessment, as well as running records, which measures what grade level our students are reading at. All students K through 8 will take a computer-based test in English, language arts, and in mathematics. And this first administration really is a learning experience, and we'll iron out any kind of kinks along the way. But the information that STAR particularly gives is immediate and important for teacher planning for students. Just quickly, upcoming events this Wednesday will be the elementary school's open house from 6 to 7, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to meet with students and parents.
Excuse me, where is that?
That's Wednesday,
Wednesday.
6 to 7.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay, it has really been a whirlwind for about 3 days now, getting things started and going. Today was 11:05, and I'm like, I can't believe it's 11:05 already. The day flew by. Our kids have been very receptive to coming back to school, eager to go. We had class meetings on Friday with every single grade level, 7 through 12. We went through the DASA policy. We went through the electronic device policy, which they were all very well aware of prior to me having to tell them. I figured they would be. But we did add bath salts and synthetic marijuana into the language of the handbooks with the illegal alcohol or illegal drugs and alcohol, because that's a new commodity that's out there that's dangerous for kids. So we did touch on that. Our seniors got senior privilege, the ones that earned it, and I think overall the kids, the first 2 days, it's a lot of talk, and they were kind of bored, but they behaved very well at the meetings. And I think that this was fun to get started with the real thing today, because School for Real was really today. We're looking at putting together a tutoring alternative ed right after school program for a few students. We're waiting for doctors' notes that the students haven't come yet, and they're looking for notes from doctors saying that for various reasons they should not attend a regular school program. So we're looking to use Mr. Coster as a certified teacher to run a program right after school for, it'll be probably a range of probably 3 to 6 kids, I think, in the long run. And we will use the Odyssey Wear program, and we're looking at kids that we have tried everything for. One or two have dropped out, and they're wanting to come back, and how can we do something different? We're thinking that the regular flow of the day has not worked, to think that it's going to be the thing that works again. We don't feel it's in the best interest of that student or the other students. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that all comes together and how it pans out for our kids. And if we can catch some of these kids that are, they're all like 16, and they're old enough that they could quit or they could stay. And if we can get them on board with any sort of program that's going to get them either a GED or a regular diploma, then that's the next thing that we're looking at for these kids. You know that we all switched to school tools, so that's been a new experience, and we all had training, and training has hit reality. And for the most part, I think that people are catching on pretty quick, and it's going smoothly. I met with my staff this afternoon to talk about attendance, and there was very favorable responses from our teachers in regard to school tool. And I think one of the best things is that we did have a good solid pocket of about 12 teachers come to receive training who are turnkeying it over to other teachers, and they can answer questions for each other. And that seems to be really nice as far as I'm concerned for teacher morale and communication and building that community spirit of we're all in this together. Sports are underway. I would say we have at least 110 students participating in sports teams right now, between swimming with modified varsity, volleyball with modified and varsity, soccer boys, soccer girls. So we have 3 TAs. We split into 3 athletic study halls to try to make them manageable and productive. So I know that volleyball had 1 game. I don't know if anyone else, have you guys started any meets yet? So swim should be coming up this week sometime probably. Everything should be getting right into the flow, I would say, starting this week. So keep your eyes open. Kids love to have people come watch. We had a meeting during staff development time with the teachers about the student learning objectives, which we call SLOs. Some have theirs pretty much put together and have a direction to know where they're going. Others realize it's now time, they have to do it. And I think, again, people are helping each other out to get it all figured out. My Spanish people came and sat together today as a department and showed me all of theirs and their local assessments. I think we did a good job getting our teachers prepared in the spring for what was going to come in the fall. And of course, you're going to have those that jump right on it and have it done. You're going to have those that, well, okay, now I really have to do it. And I haven't really heard a lot of negativity from teachers. It's just what has to be, and they're ready to do it. And lastly, we've got our Odyssey Wear seats, 10 for the high school, 10 for the elementary. Russell Coster, who did our summer school program and had some experience with online classes with others, has kind of become my consultant to work with the teachers, which is taking a huge burden off from those that are going to be using it. So he's going in and looking at the kinks, and we're hiring him in as a sub-teacher right now to come in and train those that are working. And when there's issues, he's on the line to the tech support so that the teachers that are teaching that will be using it, they know that he's going to find the answers and get it all smoothed out for them. So like we said before, there was going to be a whole lot of changes. There's been a whole lot of changes, and I think everybody is doing a pretty darn good job about staying positive and rolling with it and moving forward.
Michelle, what were the results from the Odyssey program that you used this summer? What were
The 2 girls that continued with it have been moved on to the next grade, so 9th grade and 7th grade. We're gonna monitor the younger one and make sure that she's getting the support, because I think she really needs the support. I think the older one doesn't want to end up in summer school again, you know, and I'm hoping that this will help her have a more successful 9th grade year. The young man didn't finish the course because he wasn't consistent with our agreement, so he had to make a decision to what math class he's taking during the school year right now, and I'm not sure. I haven't been back to Mrs. Elford to check with that. So that's where we're at with those.
I'll let Becky do hers. Okay.
We had questions?
We just wanted you to go over the report that was on the Google Docs from the last meeting.
Yeah, there's a specific question.
I know Tom mentioned the special fund. Could you explain that a little more to me?
The special fund is any of the federal grants that we have. If there's a student or a teacher being used for pre-K, is that a special fund here, right?
Pre-K grants.
Yeah. So the payroll and their expenses will come out, their benefits or any of that. Will come out of the special fund, any books or.
Because I'm looking at an equipment buy here of almost 2,000.
Any of the grants, and I'll just help her out with some of this, for 611, 619, if you were special ed students, we split up some of it for faculty, some of it for supplies and materials. Under the special ed, obviously, any of the materials we get for students for their specific handicap and condition come under there. Under Title I, we get a large amount, I think $158,000. About 3/4 of it goes to faculty pays. But then, in addition to that, we buy all of our testing materials, any supplemental academic materials for students, computer-based programs, software, hardware, those types of things.
Okay.
They all come under
Fall
grants.
under equipment.
UPK has their own grant.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Becky?
Okay.
That's your turn.
I had put out for emails to the board 2 hire committees, one for the part-time office help, and Terry just scoffed that right up, should wait for the committee.
And
And
it's
Tom
in
just,
my calendar.
and, well, we hadn't set a date yet, and Tom just said to me tonight that he would do the TA. So we only needed one for each because of the nature of the committees.
I emailed it, but it only went to Terry.
Oh, really?
I didn't hit reply all, I just hit reply, and she was the last one to email you, so it didn't, but that's fine.
Yeah, you
Yes.
could, do that if you want, or if he can't make it, I'll call you, so.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, that's fine. If you need somebody, just let me know.
Okay. As everybody knows, the first day of school, we had a little situation where we had to use a teachable moment with our teachers. And we do have an evacuation procedure, it should be in effect. Unfortunately, a staff member thought they overheard something that they did not hear, and had gone up and told some of the upstairs staff that we needed to evacuate the building, so some of the teachers willingly did so. So Friday afternoon at 2:45, we just had a quick faculty meeting. We went over the procedures and policies, made sure everybody had their orange books, talked about, and one of the reasons why you have an evacuation procedure, you have a specific line that you say to people, is that so that no one can come in, obviously, and evacuate your building. It has to be done by an administrator, it has to be over a PA, obviously I'm not going to tell you what it says, but that didn't happen. So we reiterated that to staff and to the individual, and hopefully that'll be the last time that we have a mess up of that nature. And it was a very serious situation that it caused by, getting people unnecessarily upset. But the situation that was going on was under control, and it just dealt with medical issues for 2 specific students not involved with anything from the building. Unfortunately, though, at 8 o'clock in the morning, it does make people a little nervous. So, and the first day of school, it doesn't make anybody feel even any better. So that hopefully is taken care of. As both ladies said, our opening days I thought went very well. The staff, I think, were probably inundated with so much information the first 2 days of school. They probably went home wondering if they really wanted to come back, I guess is how, you had to look at it. They had a lot of new things to absorb, to do, and to learn. But it was, the majority of the training was done by our own staff who came in this summer for training and then trained the other staff. I think that worked well, and it's always a positive way to do it. So they have somebody to go to throughout the year when they have questions. And they, other than what I said the first morning, the first 2 days with students went very well. AM pre-K, we only had 1 crier, and PM we had 3, and we still had 2 this morning PMs. So hopefully in the next, couple of weeks we can get through some of that, but it's a very tough transition.
All kids, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah, the one today you weren't sure. So hopefully, like I said.
Couple moms.
Yeah. Well, the one mother, I kept saying, just let me take it, it'd be so much easier. No, no. It really, after your first child, it does get easier. But she wasn't crying today, so I thought that was positive. That's tough. The first time you bring your child to school and they're saying they don't want to stay and they hate you, and so that was a tough one.
Well, there's some time.
Oh. Our bus numbers, and I think the sheet was on there, wasn't it, the bus count? Okay. It's actually gone up since the last time. We have 2 buses that have 59 students and 1 bus that has 62. Obviously, that's nearing our capacity, and what we are going to run into, and actually we did, if somebody sends a bus note with their children to go on a bus that already has 62 students, we're kind of in a tough situation. We've been very free in allowing people to, turn in bus notes. I guess we're to the point that I'm partially looking for advice, but if we, for example, when we picked up 14 students all within a 3 radius, of 1 bus, then what made it do is kick out different routes. So 3 or 4 bus drivers had to pick up different students, different routes than they usually did. But when a family of 4 or 5 people sends in a bus note, that puts us over numbers. If we get any more students in a particular geographic region, we might have to look at putting another bus route on. Obviously, we didn't plan for it. We don't have it, as one of our budget items. So we need to look at, I know that the board had said very clearly last year, if we have to limit bus passes, we will. So I guess I'm coming to you to say, folks, how do you really feel about that? Because when you do it, obviously it impacts people.
Right.
Some of our biggest impacts with the one particular bus is, 3 days at mom's, 3 days at dad's, 3 days at mom's, the back and forth, and not having a consistent pickup or drop off.
This bus that has 62 passengers, which is maximum capacity.
It's I believe it's 66, I don't know if you know, Jeff.
Maybe a 5, 65.
65?
It might be 65.
I mean, it's right at brim, to be perfectly honest, and, with the number of students you have and sizes of some, they vary, so it is pretty full.
Now, we're talking 100 students in sports. So are those students normally not on the bus?
If you look at the sheets, you will see, for example, but like one of the buses, there's 62 and 62, AM and PM.
Right.
So somebody's not getting off the buses of those, but other ones you can see, the difference. But
Is that what this is, taking into consideration
That's-
sports?
That's what it's supposed to be taken into consideration, but you don't see a large drop.
No,
So-
how can that
What
be?
What I, would like Frank to do is after, a week when we shuffle out, is to
Right.
look at our PMs. But even picking up 62 students in the morning is
Right.
very difficult. And the run that they share with, you know, are the ones obviously also at 59.
Is there any leeway in that 62 capacity, maximum capacity? I mean, if you got 63 kids to pick up, does that allow you to pick that last kid up to run over capacity, or does the law say absolutely no?
You should not be picking anyone else up. I mean, you need to be at your capacity. And one of the things, just because it says it's 65 or 66, if you have a larger child, you're not fitting 3 in a seat. I mean, when they say that, they're often talking 3 kids in a seat. And that might be true for pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, but it's not when you get to middle school.
And not with a backpack.
Well, and that's one of the things too, is kids don't, you know, want to set their backpacks down. They want to on the seat next to them, and it does create a problem. So it is something we were probably going to be talking about. I did have a parent calling this morning, quite upset. Her children live on Dana Hill. She said less than a 5-minute ride from here. And her children were picked up at 6:40 and dropped off at 3:43. And again, it's because of how the route changed. And they were first picked up, last dropped off. I did try to explain the procedure, you know, how you try to drop off as many students, more students in the beginning, so that you're traveling with less and less and less by the miles. It obviously doesn't make that parent feel any happier, you know, for her child if they, you know, are less than 5 minutes away to be on the bus for an hour each way. But we have other students who are on for longer than that, not to make it that that's okay either. But I am bringing it up because we are seriously impacted right now. So. And some parents and students actually were not happy with getting switched buses. You know, they might have had the same bus driver for the last 5 years, and suddenly there's a new driver, actually they're on a new bus. So they're not with their friends, they're not with, but again, that was done because of logistics. So what's people's feelings on bus passes?
I think that's something we talked about at the end of last year when we had some mix-up, and it seems like there are always a lot of those mix-up with kids, especially the ones that are getting off a different house every day, or we talked about the confusion and checked with some other schools to see how they do it, and a lot of them, wherever they get on the bus is where they get off the bus, and that would certainly cause hardship for a lot of people, but I don't really know what our alternatives are.
I don't think we should. I understand the larger kids and the smaller kids and stuff like this, but the bus says 62 maximum capacity
Right.
legally, and as far as the responsibilities go, I would say we have to stay under that limit.
Absolutely.
But we are under the limit. It's actually, okay,
I'm saying.
it's not a 66 capacity.
Okay.
And I don't, and to me, this list doesn't reflect what's really happening in the afternoon. I mean, I'd like a little bit more accurate idea of what's actually going on in the afternoon.
But it's still a problem in the morning too, just to let you know.
Yes.
And when the kids are going from moms to dads, 3 days they may be on one bus, 3 days they're on the other, which don't often get picked up by this. And we have some students that go to sitters some mornings, but not other mornings. You know, again, based on parents' work.
So really by the day of the week, you really need to have information based over a period of a week
Yes.
for an average.
And we had, I mean, again, this is the beginning of the year, one office person doing bus passes, and the first day took over 2 hours. And again, we don't have an established list yet, but it's still taking about an hour and 20 minutes a day to write bus passes.
Is there a difference between the bus pass situation and how routes are planned for pickup and drop off? In other words, if your child is, if it's planned to be picked up at a location and dropped out at a location, and that's fairly consistent, is that a different issue than coming in with a change?
The only thing is, if you're getting on the bus that has 62 on it already, and you're a family of 3 or 4, we just take capacity.
Right.
And that's the difficult, hoping you're trying to run
From
some
a
of that.
planning perspective, you can, I mean, that's more predictive than a child coming on the bus pass and saying, I want to go with this guy, the bus is already loaded.
Sure.
And which is that we would say you can't do that.
Right.
Because
And we do have, I mean, not as frequently, but students show up at other bus stops in the morning because they stayed at this person's house or that, you know, that type of thing also. But I did ask Frank to do an afternoon numbers run.
Do we try to get like 85% capacity on our buses or something to have a little question, or did the number just come out, where they come out, there's no number that we,
This is probably the first year, I mean, well, several years that we've had this problem or concern, but when you get 14 students move in that were just 3 households, that is, you know, a major change.
So birthday parties are all gonna be held then?
Yeah. And that's, you know, Friday birthday parties, that's your biggest day of
Yeah.
bus notes, I mean, individually, I mean, yeah.
How the person who issues bus passes know how many kids are gonna be on what bus? I mean, they could issue 5 passes, and next thing you know, you're over your maximum capacity.
Right.
Whose responsibility is to say, we can't do this? Is it the person in the office or the bus driver who says that
Well,
maximum capacity?
What we had her doing is checking which buses she's putting students on and speaking to Frank. Only because, obviously, in C, some of the buses are pretty close already. Now, eventually, it'll also wash out, some kids will start to drive that aren't, I mean, you know, after the first week or so, parents start letting some more drive. But we're still, you know, at a difficult spot. I just wanted to make everybody aware it's a true ongoing problem. And hopefully, by the next meeting, we'll have another count from Frank.
Right.
Okay. Okay, our enrollment numbers. Currently, the elementary is at 321, high school's at 271, for a total of 592 students. And I know that we just enrolled someone today, but we also lost a couple today also.
And how does that compare?
Overall, from the middle of last year, at this point, we're up about 12. But again, things went up and down throughout the year, so it's really hard to tell. But we did, I think, had 46 enroll, and we had, I mean, 20-some leave, you know, and then it just keeps going back and forth now. Those are our numbers. Okay, on teacher certification, we have obviously been working on this all summer, and I did get the letter from Tom Burns today that I did put on, which is dealing with both our technology and our health. Anybody, well, I think we talked about it when we hired the health person, we went through 2 different rounds and not getting a certified person, so we currently have Jim Hagan and Sean Kuhn both doing incidental teaching, and Tom is aware of that as well. The technology, we're still hoping to be dealing with the supplementary at this point though, but we do have the incidental, and I have a couple of things, the letter from Tom, the letter from State Ed, and also the other letter from State Ed that talks about incidental teaching can be used in grades 7 and 8, and it gives the different areas. And obviously the technology class is one of them. But under, from State Ed, one of the other things, technology is not counted in highly qualified coursework. So it's only with teachers who have the academic areas and one other special area. So English, math, science, social, foreign language, and the arts is the other. So if you're doing an art, dance, music, or theater, which we don't have here, obviously. So those are the only highly qualified areas for the HQ when we get to our bid zones. Terry Remington did get his supplementary certification in family and consumer science. They are they had an interdepartmental meeting on Monday where they were talking about ag and whether or not that should be an area that can get supplementary certification. And they agreed as a unit that yes, it can, as long as the person has a bachelor's degree, and that is something they are going to change on their teach site. So we just got that today from Ann Jasinski, and you can see in Tom's letter that he mentioned Charlie McCarthy, and Charlie is in the teach, and he's been there for 35 years. So he is Tom's main source. But we are still hoping that the other 2 people will get their supplementary this year. But they're still checking their credits, despite the fact that we've sent them in twice. We've had our first bus evacuation and fire drill today, so we're right on getting everybody safe and sound. The bus drills, we were able to do them all in one day because several teachers stepped up, which is a new thing this year. When you're doing the bus drill, you either have to have a teacher or an administrator on each of the buses and then sign off that it was done properly. So several teachers said they'd be willing to step up and do that, and they did. So we got through everyone today. We plan to have the fitness center open again this week. In order to do that, it's going to be the same hours as last year, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m., Saturdays 9 to 12, before school 6 a.m. to 7:30, and then if it is available, 3:15 to 4:30. That's not always available because some of the sports teams do use them. Anyone that's using the fitness center, there's two requirements. You have to do it in pairs, and you have to have your updated fitness center authorization form. So you still have to go through and get your form checked. They all are online, and we have the hours posted on the door. So the fitness center is ready when we get people, wanting to do that and calling in and telling them to come in and get their paperwork done. And that's all I have.
So the letters from the state ed department regarding technology and the Google Docs,
They are there.
is that right? Okay, I didn't see those today.
Okay. Can I have a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of talking about collective negotiations or the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person? Nancy? And all in favor? For the executive session? Oh, any opposed? Sorry, any opposed? Okay, motion is carried. In executive session at 7:12.